move straight on to Kongyang Yu to talk about his winner of the GROHE Water Prize. Now, the Water Prize is a very important part of what we do at WAF. It's a partnership with our founder partner, GROHE, who are specialists in water use, water presentation, and indeed we've probably all been drinking water from a GROHE filter and in GROHE glasses, as you see on the table in front of me. And it's a very important relationship to WAF, and in a creative sense, it's important too, because this prize that we jointly award with GROHE is the only prize at WAF that includes some financial reward, because what we do, we ask for submissions to be considered, which are already pieces of research that are underway but need a bit of a boost in their funding to move from one scale to another scale. And that's what we've done now over several years, and we've had some extremely interesting projects that we may refer back to in the discussion. But I would just like to introduce Kongyang Yu, who many of you will have seen on the main stage yesterday in his fascinating talk about basically working with rather than against water. And this, I guess, is an example of that, if you'd like to explain it to us.
Thank you, Jeremy. And first of all, thank GROHE to support this prize. I'm so honored to get this prize. Very interesting, this is a multi, maybe many people know Malta is the number one spirit in China. Alcohol is the most productive company, and it's generate a huge revenue for the city, for the province of the. So that's number one important industry. So it can become benchmark for the whole industry if we can make this carbon zero water treatment system. Now Malta is a liquid. They produce 60,000 tons of liquid every year. And they use a huge amount of water. Daily, they produce 7,000 tons of wastewater because of traditional brewery process. At the same time, the wastewater is very hot, very hot because of fermentation process. So that's a 50-degree heat waste, So the challenging thing is that how can you harvest the waste heat and also clean up the water, because the water is nutrient rich, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassiums. Because the river is so important, they use the water, clean water, to use for not only this factory, but other brands also along the river, Chishui River. There are many brands of alcohol along the river. So we don't want to drain any of this kind of wastewater into the river. Meanwhile, we want to harvest all the nutrient and recycle the heat. So that's the whole idea. So the factory side actually looks very not so nice, very ugly. They produce the best alcohol anyhow, so they don't have to move. They don't want to move anywhere because in the air there are kind of bacteria which you cannot find in any other place. So that's important for this liquid. But so the vegetation here is not so nice. So and meanwhile they have this water treatment system, but that costs a lot of energy. So instead of use sewage treatment, we actually create a system. This system is to combine a greenhouse. Now the greenhouse will harvest the heat from the water and create a tropical garden. So tropical garden will remove the nutrient, right? Remove the nutrient, meanwhile produce a beautiful ornamental garden and education, botanical garden in the greenhouse. But that's not enough. We also want to recover the degraded landscape, because as you can see, the landscape in largely destroyed. The ecological system been destroyed. So we use this water, which been pre-treated in the greenhouse, and go to this landscape. That landscape will be terraced to catch the water, and that uses the construct wetland to filtrate the nutrient and produce a beautiful wetland park. Now that's a drawing you can see from the factory to the greenhouse to the wetland, and it recycles the water. Meanwhile, harvest the biomass produced during the whole process. So that's the whole idea. Now that's the rendering. This you can see. I'm sorry, the rendering, and you can see the greenhouse that's come out, harvests the heat and also recycles the nutrient. So that's rendering. That's the whole process. As the interior of the greenhouse, and it certainly not necessarily the most beautiful greenhouse, but it's the most functional, because the orientation is important for the site, catch the maximum sunlight, the sunshine, and make use of this whole process, and certainly become an educational center. That's entrance, and all the wall will be function as a filtrator, resource capturing all the nutrient from the water. That's the process. We have also document, and I don't want to go to so much detail about that, but certainly there are a lot of detailing about how can we make this functional, working, and certainly beautiful. So it is about a holistic ecosystem services, right? Regulation, nutrient, temperature, waste heat. It is about biodiversity. We recover the habitat to create a native biodiversity. And it is about the beauty, of course, and certainly about productivity, right? So holistic solution, but the key here is water, yeah? Again, recycle the use of water, and with zero recharge, zero waste water to the river. Thank you. Thank you very much.